Thank you very much, my dear brother, the Honourable Minister of Information and State Orientation, Dr. Mohammed Idris. Honourable Minister, if you allow me, I will stand on the protocol you properly established, but good to mention that I'm here with my brother and friend, the Honourable Minister of Works for State, Right Honourable Goronyo is here with us. Also with the PAM Secretary, Minister of Works, Engineer Funsho Adebiye is here with us. And all our directors are here. My dear brothers and sisters, my colleagues, the Honourable Ministers, standing on protocol that is in place. Let me first comment and congratulate Mr. President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for his almost 2 years in office and for a lot improvement in our economy that was inherited, was in shock, was in coma, and he came and injected oxygen. And today we have a lot of positive indices in the economy of our nation. I can't say better than what the Honourable Minister of Information has said, but we will come to that. But let me say that when Mr. President came to office, May 29, 2023, he inherited a total number of 2,604 projects, major projects. And from then till now, we have started new projects under his administration, totally about 65, and that is major projects. And we also have started 4 legacy projects under him. And of course, we have completed 260 palliative projects totaling 208 billion. We will come to that. But let me say that these 2,604 projects inherited as at May 29, 2023, totaled about 13 trillion naira, and of course, 1 trillion was debt owed contractors for completed jobs. When we did rule of the term at that time and projected by the reason of removal of fuel subsidy and floating of the naira, the project then came to about 17 to 18 trillion. And today, projecting that is about 20 trillion. But by the ingenuity of Mr. President, FAKE directed that we should prioritize these inherited projects along the geopolitical zone and along the nation economic corridors. And we came up with a total of 440 projects. These 440 projects needed to be reviewed because the basic rates of construction materials as at the time these indices of our economy were changed, are no longer the same. And that necessitated the change, review of the projects, and also phasing of projects. Let me mention that outside the projects we completed and commissioned in the last year, May 29th, which we also rendered to you, we have also completed another set of 19 projects. And some of these projects are like the Yakasi project in Kano, which was about 34 kilometers, totally about 17 billion. We also have the Hadija project in Kano, and which was, about 84 billion for 105 kilometers. And you come to Southwest, we have completed the section 1 of Dangote tax credit, which is the concrete road that is coming from Lekki Deep Sea Port and going to Ekpe in Lagos State. We've also completed the extension of Third Mainland Bridge with CCTV camera to observe what is happening within that environment up to Falomo. We've also completed the Lagos-Ibadan route, which was 84 kilometers, about 201 billion. It was inherited. And that Lagos-Ibadan, there are 2 sections under phase 1. One was done by Julo Beja, and it was completed and commissioned by the last administration. But we inherited section 2 of phase 1, and that is being completed by RCC. And we also have the Lagos Badagry project, which is being done by, CGC, and is set for, commissioning. And so these are some of the projects we have. If you go to the southwest, south-south, we have the section 1 of the east-west road, which is running from Port Harcourt, going to, Bayelsa State, and that was completed by Julius Beja under administration. We are also working on section 2, which is between Ahoda and Ekayama. That is ongoing. In southeast, we have completed the Artisan Bridge. The 2 bridges failed when Mr. President came on board, and he directed that we should inspect it, and we inspected, and today it's being completed. It's 25 meters span by 3, which is 75 meters. About 5.9 billion is completed by CCACC. And one bridge in my state, which is Akwaha Bridge, which is a single carriageway. That of Enugu is double carriageway, but that of Ebo is single carriageway. And that's been completed by CCACC. And you get to North Central, we have the Shandam Bridge in Plateau State is completed. And in Northeast, we have the Jimeta Bridge in Adamawa State is completed. And another bridge also in Adamawa State, which is connecting Adamawa, to the next, state. And that is a route going to Cameroon. We had a terrible issue last year, and I had to visit there by the directive of Mr. President. But I'm very happy that that problem is a thing of the past. I'm not sure we are missing out any other, this thing in terms of completed projects. But let me announce that Mr. President in 2023 directed for immediate action on 260 palliative projects. Some of these projects as big as 10 billion, but the total is 260. We have the soft copy and the hard copy, which we're going to give to you. Those projects have been, completed up to 99%, just about 2 or 3 projects that are still outstanding. And I've always said these projects are very important. Even though 208 billion is not a small money, but when you think about 260 projects, you may think they are not important. No, they are very important, because a chain is as strong as the weakest link. If this palliative were not fixed, it would have been very difficult, to go from one state to the other. And I continue to maintain that the road and the bridge sector is the major sector that grows the economy, the GDP of any nation. And it is on this economy, the GDP, that other sectors grow from. A man in China was asked, what do you do if a nation wants to be great? He said, build road. They asked him again, he said, build road. And so I commend Mr. President very highly for his commitment to the infrastructure. And I said, for a man that tamed the Atlantic Ocean, we come to that. That's a man with great courage. And he's a guru in infrastructure development. And let me also say that apart from these projects, we also have 4 major legacy projects. And we have also compiled a number of ongoing projects. Time will fail me to mention all the ongoing projects. But if we come to the south-south, we have the Lokoja, to Benin, starting from Okene. We have 3 projects that are ongoing there, and by CCEC, by BUA, by CBC, and finally by, CGC, yes. These projects have been terminated and re-awarded, and work is going on very seriously. You get to Benin to worry, the terrain is very bad, and we inherited 3 projects there, and we have reviewed it, and we are constructing it on a reinforced concrete pavement as directed by Mr. President, because when we came on board, we would see, traffic jam with big trucks up to 2, 3, 4, 5 kilometers. And the road was so terrible. So we had to redesign this route, digging by 1 meter down, fill it back with lumps, sharp sand, stone base, and then put 20 cm reinforced concrete pavement. Work is ongoing there. The first section is handled by Levan, second section by Guild, third section by SKCC. And between Warri down to River State, we have two major washouts because this road was constructed below the plain, the floodplain. And so we've intervened in such situation at Ugele axis and also at Ahoda axis. Work is almost completed. We finished one carriageway on reinforced concrete pavement, and then we've turned traffic to it, and then we're doing the other one. Very sure that it will be done. And so when you continue on what Mr. President is doing in South, you get to the Section 2 of East West Road, which is being done by Setraco. Of course, I've told you that Section 1 has been completed and ready for commissioning. And that job is about 75% done. We hope to finish and have it commissioned by December. And you get to the Eleme-One junction, and I always say that this is the most traffic section, of our route, in this country. Because you have the refinery there, you have the port there, you have the petrochemical, and a lot of other companies there. 15 kilometers by 2, but each carriageway is 15 meters. Which is about 4 lanes at a go. And when we inherited this project, it was 156 billion. And that was to be done with flexible pavement. But we looked at the soil terrain and we carried out extensive soil investigation. And then we decided to redesign it, which we did, and then we are reconstructing it with reinforced concrete pavement. Good to announce that the one section of it from Eleme going to Ne has been completed on reinforced concrete pavement, and the other section we are engaging from next week. And then you get to Ekate, you have the Ekate bypass, which is 19.5 kilometers by 2, and it is for a total contract sum of 74 billion. Work is ongoing there. It is being done with the rigid pavement, that's reinforced concrete pavement. And between Akwa Ibom to Cross River, we have the CCCC we inherited, and we've redesigned, and faced the project. And then the second one, we have the Beja. We negotiated with Beja to continue the project for 14 months, which they could not. And so we had to terminate the project and re-awarded it to Recon. And then, of course, the Samatech. Most of these roads are being reconstructed on rigid pavement because of the terrain. When we visited Calabar the other day, we were, worried that between Calabar and Akwa Ibom, a journey of 1.5, we did it 7 hours. And that necessitated our scoping 11.5 kilometers by 2, and we drafted high-tech to come and they do those sections, especially our power plant that is at Uduakwana. And so these are what Mr. President is doing, in this, section. But let me also say that 383B, 65 kilometers of Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway has been flagged off. And good surprise to see that high-tech is even at the verge of completing 10 kilometers of that section within the next 2-3 months. So we are very grateful for what Mr. President is doing in that section. If you get to Northwest is fully loaded. You have the Abuja Kano, which we terminated from Jolobeja, and that is section 1 and the section 3, and that's 118 kilometers, which we have re-awarded to InfoQuest for a total contract sum of 252 billion. And of course, we also injected street lights, making that road ready for operate and maintain when completed. Good to announce that 5 kilometers of reinforced concrete pavement has been completed, because that road is redefined and they re-awarded on rigid pavement. And so section 2 is 64 kilometers by 2, which is 128 kilometers, and it's also been redesigned on rigid pavement for a total contract sum of 525 billion. Work is ongoing there, and we also put solar lights, making it ready for operate and maintain when this is completed and is awarded to InfoQuest. And you get to Sokoto, from Sokoto to Zamfara, and Zamfara to Katsina, and Katsina to Kaduna. It's a total of 375 kilometers by two, which is 750 kilometers. And this we inherited, and we had to redesign a major part of that road on reinforced concrete pavement. It's a big one, and the total contract sum is 872 billion. And you start from Sokoto, you get the CBC is doing wonders, with one carriageway on rigid pavement. And today we have completed 40 kilometers. Those going from Sokoto to Zamfara will be able to see, that beautiful road. Even those in opposition have stopped severally at Eleme and Sokoto to say, even though we are in opposition, we can't oppose this. And that makes us very happy. I thought you put your hands together for Mr. President. Yes. And so you get to Zamfara, and that is Setraco. Setraco is doing a fantastic work. I'm from Zamfara to Katsina, and that mother cat, the tractor, doing fantastic work. I'm from there to Kaduna, and that is mother cat, doing fantastic work. We have engaged seriously in that project. And then you get to Kebbi, you see the Malando project is ongoing. But the good news is the Lagos, the Sokoto Badagry. This was a dream of the Shagari administration about 47 years back. And it was supposed to be Badagry Sokoto, but a very detribalized, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu directed us to change it to Sokoto, Badagry. And when you look at the terrain, you look at a total of 1,068 kilometers by two, it's only a man with great courage. The power of the dream of one man that could engage in such a project. And so the dream of Shagari administration 47 years ago is made flesh by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Today, we have awarded section 1, there are two carriageway, but we started with one carriageway, 258 kilometers in KB axis, awarded for 958 billion. And we've sent the second leg of it to BPP to give us, no objection to go to FEC. And so let me say that out of the 4 legacy projects of Mr. President, KB has the largest chunk of it. And work is ongoing, and in the next, 1 month, we will have 10 kilometers of that project at KB for commissioning, if Mr. President desires, but work is very much ongoing, and it's on rigid pavement. And we also have the Sokoto axis, Ilela. When we were to flag up Sokoto axis, I was to do it at a different location. Mr. President called me and said, go to Ilela. That is a place they gave me a lot of votes. And today, that 120 kilometers of the first carriageway is ongoing as Sokoto axis and awarded for 482 billion. The second carriageway is also in procurement for award. Time will fail me to mention other projects in Northwest, but the Kaduna Eastern Bypass being done by Dangote in rigid pavement. Time will fail me to mention the Northern Ring Road is being done by CCECC. You have the Zaria to Hunki being done by Mothercat, and so many other projects. And I think that Northwest, they have the largest chunk of my projects in Ministry of Works. Can you put our hands together for Mr. President? In the Southwest, we have some ongoing projects. We have the newly awarded 7th Axia Road. This 7th Axia Road is taken off from the Lekki Deep Sea Port. And I've said that the legacy project of Mr. President is an investment, is beyond road construction. It is a road construction upon which other, road arteries of the Federation will link up to. For example, at the Lekki Deep Sea Port, we have a lot of advantages because we are no longer paying for, transloading of a ship, because the Apapa Wharf is of a shallow, depth. But the Lekki Deep Sea Port, of course, the dream of Mr. President made flesh, but not by me anyway. But I have a lot of, activities at the Deep Sea Port. So we have big ship betting there, and so we needed a lot of evacuation corridor. And that is what this Dangote, that is doing for us, taking us to Ekpe. But the 7th Axia Road, which is 26.4, but it has about 5 kilometers of bridges and it's dual carriageway. I've been awarded for lot 1 and 2 for $651 million US. And I call it evacuation corridor. It takes us right away from the deep sea port and takes us to Shagamu, Ore, Benin. And so it's an evacuation corridor for the 17 northern states and also for other northern, southern states and other northern states within that corridor. And of course, we have the very wonderful Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, Section 1. The Section 1 is 47.47 kilometers, and it is of 3 lanes each. And 30 kilometer, great to announce, it's been achieved and is ready for commissioning. On Section 2, I think we deserve a bigger hands of applause to our president. And Section 2 is 55 kilometers by 2, which is awarded for 1.33 billion, and it covers all the bridges in Sections 1 and the 2. About 7 kilometers of that road is being completed. And so it is set for, if the president likes, but what we are putting forward is for him to flag off that second section and then, inspect it. That's what we have. And of course, we have repair works going on in Tom Mainland Bridge and Kata Bridge. We've had an engagement on Kata Bridge. In fact, Beja says that Kata Bridge is in comatose and needed a replacement. We are engaging on that, and whatever we come up with, using our experts and stakeholders on civil engineering, we'll let you know, and then we'll make it public. But definitely, the Tom Mainland Bridge and Kata Bridge, built over 52 years back with no maintenance until President Bola Ahmed came on board, is having very serious issue beneath the water, table. And so we also have Section 2 of the Lagos Ibadan. Section 2, Phase 2 is being done for 184 billion by CBC, and that includes completion of all the ramps of the bridges they built. Unfortunately, these bridges that we built, the head walls was done according to the engineering requirement. The minimum that is required of headroom is 5.6, but some of it was even done at 6.2, and yet big trucks are knocking the beams, and so it's in great danger. So today we have 7 bridges that the beams are in trouble because big vehicles went to knock it down. And that's why in part of our policy we've directed that all our headrooms henceforth should not be less than 6.5 meters. We have solution to tackle that, and that's by depressing, the underpass and get a maximum of 6.5 meters to mitigate that. And of course, if you come to southeast, we have the Enugu Onisha, road being done by MTN, 107 kilometers at 202 billion. We have scoped out 77 kilometers because it's supposed to be dual carriageway. So the second carriageway is scoped out 77 kilometers and awarded at 150 billion to CBC. And of course, you have the Owerri Onisha project that is ongoing. You have the sections of Port Harcourt to Enugu. The Log Banta to Enugu is 61 kilometers. One carriageway is completed, the work is going on the other one. You have the Eko Binago flyover, which is 23 span. The answer is to decongest traffic within that Enugu depot. And that job is about 84% done, and is done for 25 billion. You have the dualization of Enugu Abakaliki, which is 84 kilometers, and it is being done for 183 billion with about 7 bridges. You have the Afipo going to Abia, going to Okiwe, and that is about 75 kilometers. Is being done by Dangote tax credit. And you come to the northeast. The northeast, you have the Akwanga to Jos to Bauchi and to Gombe. And that is the 4th legacy project of Mr. President, 432 kilometers. We are completing the design, but we've done palliative on that work, Anybody going through that place will be able to see the palliative work we've done. And, we are completing design and the procurement. We have Mubi axis of, a project. We have the Gembu axis. We have the Medugri, ring road. We have the section of Kano to Medugri. The first section is, at between Kano and Jigawa, and that was awarded to Dantata, but Dantata did not perform to the satisfaction of Ministry of Works after 18 years. So we terminated it and we've re-awarded it to Tractor. They have mobilized to site. And we have this section 5, which is at Medugri Township, and that is being done by CCACC, and that project is ongoing. And we have the Gombe to Bauchi project being done by Tractor, and time will fail me to say all the project. But of course, in North Central benefited from the third legacy project of Mr. President, from the job that I didn't mention, that the Trans-Sahara trade route, which is the third legacy project of Mr. President, that the Southeast benefited 118 kilometers by 361 billion. We are engaging in first carriageway, at a moment. And so from there, the North Central benefited because the project is running from there to Benue, from Benue to Kogi, Kogi to Nasarawa, and Nasarawa down to Abuja. And the total length of the project is 486 kilometers of road. We have the roads we took over from Bulletin that was terminated before administration, being done by True Crete. That project we have taken it over, and is being done by Reinforced Concrete. And we also have the section that was being done by Jito. We've terminated that project after 18 years, and we've redesigned it 86 kilometers. Work is ongoing. And of course, from Lokoja to Kene, we have 2 sections there being done by CGC. Work is ongoing. We have the Burugu Bridge that is ongoing. We have the Kasinala project that is going to Cross River, that is ongoing. And of course, you have the Maraba Kefi that is ongoing. And time will fail me to mention all the projects. I don't know whether my PAM secretary, have I forgotten any zone? If I forgot a zone, you have to let me know. I'm told that I have listed. Let me commend Mr. President very highly for the 4 legacy projects. I've mentioned them, but let me say that the source of funding, and before I say the source of funding, I've already told you that we have 260 palliative projects totaling 208 billion, and they're ready for commissioning. And we've agreed, subject to directive of Mr. President, that the projects will be commissioned zone by zone, and that we are going to have the press, going to all the 6 zones, the Nigeria Road Transport Workers, National Assembly. So you will be involved in the commission of these projects. And before I round off, let me say that I saw when people posted that we are going to London. I've never been to London in the past 2 years. I never discussed with anybody about going to London. I have too much work to do here, talk about going to London. And so we shouldn't, just take on social media and take it to be true. Nobody discussed going to London with me. And let me say that for a minister to travel out of the country, the rule is that you must get written approval by the Mr. President. So this is social media jargon and should not be taken, seriously. Nobody discussed with me. I'm not aware. I'm not aware that any of the other ministers, they are aware. And so please disregard it and let us not join issues with social media. And let somebody help me to tell Mr. Rufai, who is my very good friend, to please cross-check very well. Because they would have sent a text to us before they began to condemn us. Even when I was governor, before I traveled out of the country, I had always taken permission from a sitting president. So I'm a man that is played by the rule of the law. And so the policies that we have injected in the ministry, before now, when you give contractors mobilization, in fact, no contractor will move to site until you pay mobilization. But that's not what the procurement act says. Procurement Act says that the client may and not must. So we've changed that narratives. And in the contract agreement, we put it down that if after 30 days we sign contract with you and you fail to mobilize and work, then that project is assumed to have been terminated. And this is helping us because people have a lot of excuses and then seek for variation and say, look, we were not paid mobilized. That's not what the law says. In fact, you are required to have certain amount of money in your own liquidity before you get certain jobs. We are also classifying the contractors. We don't want contractors, some of them are reading from university and come down to primary school, and reading from primary school going to the university. We don't want that. We are classifying contractors according to their capacity and abilities so that we will give life to our local contractors. And let me also announce that Mr. President directed that we must grow the local contractors. We must grow our local engineers. And so we have a program which we call the Renewed Hope program, whereby in every state we are getting 5 civil engineers that are not at work, and we are posting them to these 4 legacy projects and other mega projects of the country so that they can learn. We can't continue to use foreign contractors to grow our economy. You go to China, you find out who are working. We have to grow our people, and we've introduced reinforced concrete pavement, which is very easy to lay. But the trick in it, and that's why they're fighting me, is that you can do all the mess and cheating with asphalt, but you cannot do that with the first concrete. Because the moment the quality of the concrete is not there, it will fail in your face. But badly job with asphalt will last for 1 year. And that's when people talk, oh, FEMA is not doing anything. By the way, I've told the Minister of Information to please give my brother, the Honourable Minister of State, a day to come, and you'll be shocked with the intervention that FEMA is doing in all our roads. So we brought this, innovations, and we brought innovations of very serious training. In fact, since the PAM Secretary came, we have had about 4 different kinds of training for engineers. And we also brought, a policy that if a controller of a state is not doing well, it's not pushing the contractor, it's not supervising the project, it's not able to give us account of the projects anytime we call, we record the controller, and they will be posted to my office. So every day we stay in the office and then we greet ourselves. This is what we are doing. And so we have different funding, this thing. But let me, say about HDMI, which is the Highway Development and Management Initiative. This is a kind of PPP on our roads, which is what we desire. We desire for, I'm told to stop, but I will stop. We desire that, investors should come and they take over, most of these roads. But we are being very careful. I've written to ICRC to let me know the alternative roads, because the law says for you to give out any road to be done on PPP and toll, you have to give an alternative road. So we are very careful, because there is what is called pull-up, call option, which is if you find money to do the road and you toll it and there is interference, then they will have to now take money from Federation account. We don't want when Mr. President is resting after 8 years, and when I will be resting after 8 years, and for contractors that thought that, I'm about quitting. I'm not quitting. We are in this thing together, and we must change the narrative. So we are being very careful not to shortchange the federal government, not to shortchange our people, not to mortgage the interests of our born children. And this is very important. So we welcome PPP. We've handed over Bini Asaba, and so the society should push for that contractor to start work, and that is handed over to African Plus. And so we are willing and ready to engage private sector to do our roads and toll it. But no road will be tolled unless it is completely done and in good condition. That is the directive of Mr. President. And finally, I don't want to be disobedient or be a member of a Labour Party that are very disobedient. I want to commend, my Minister of State Works and my PAM Secretary and all the directors. But greater commendation goes to Mr. President. When he asked me to do Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, I drew inspiration from the Eco-Atlantic. When I was working in Lekki as a young engineer, people were selling off their properties within that axis. I know, there is one bank that had glass house that sold off in panic. IMB, very good. But Mr. President, a man of courage, a man of, I call him the Joseph the Dreamer. And the God has helped him to make flesh all his dreams. I commend him very highly. Our GDP is growing, inflation is coming down, our foreign exchange is impacted positively. The World Bank says we are not owing them again. Let's put our hands together for Mr. President, the man, the road master, and a man of uncommon courage. Thank you very much. Thank you, and God bless you. Thank you.